Hello and welcome to another beginner's piano lesson here at LearnPianoLive.com. This is a beginner's lesson, so the assumption is you know nothing about piano. You don't know the letters, you don't know how to read music, you don't know any chords. If that's you, you're in the right place. We're starting at the very basics. So really the keys to this lesson is to ask a whole lot of questions. This is you and me, so you got to ask whatever questions you have so that I, as your teacher, can help you out and know what you need. Now, if you are an absolute beginner, you might want to check out the Absolute Beginners Lesson Pack in the video store because that'll kind of walk you through some of the very basics that most beginning piano students have. It's free. Just go check it out in the video store. And there's a couple other things too that I want to talk to you about before this countdown clock hits 0. All right, first and most important, ask a lot of questions. The way that you're going to do that is there's a couple different ways. You can jump in the chat room and talk with the other students who are logged in at the same time. I'll be watching the chat room too. You ask your questions there, or if it's a question that's just for me, a question about the lesson, especially if you know it's one that's going to fit best at the question and answer time at the end, then you can just put your name and your question in the box below this video, click submit, and then I will get that. Now, if you're already in the archives, if you're watching this not live, but you're watching this in the archives, then make sure at the end of the lesson you click on the survey button. You don't have to fill out the entire survey. If you want to, I mean, I'd love your feedback, but really the best part of that is that you can put your question in there, and then we click submit. Then I will get all of your questions. I'll make sure that you get them answered, whether you're in the archives or you're live. Right next to this video, there should be a PDF button and an MP3 button. Now, you don't really need those till after the lesson because I'm going to be showing you on screen the PDF and showing you how to use it. And I'll play the MP3 during the lesson too, so you know at the end of the lesson how you're going to use that. Some people, though, like to print out the PDF ahead of time, so as I'm making notes on my version, they can make the same notes on their version, but it works either way. All right, this is perhaps the most important part. You need to leave the lesson when you feel like you're sufficiently challenged. So, I'm teaching these lessons, 12 to 15 lessons a month. Normally, in traditional lessons, you're getting like a lesson every other week or so. So this is just way too much for you to take in. So, the goal is for you to get some little nugget of something that you can really practice on, really work on. Once you feel like you have that, then you really don't need anything else from me. Go practice. That's where this stuff is really going to happen. You're not going to get through this lesson and be able to play something really well. You're going to get through this lesson and have the information that you need to practice more effectively. That's really the goal here. So don't feel bad about taking off early. If you feel like halfway through the lesson you got as much as you can take in at that time, then go practice that thing, and then come back whenever you've got that thing down, or you're bored with it, or you just want to check out the next topic. Don't forget also that you've got the archives too. So if you want to see one little thing, just repeat it over and over and over. Just give me, hopefully within 24 hours after the lesson, this thing will be up in the archives, so you can just go back and watch it over and over and over and over and just get that little segment down. All right, today we're doing everybody's favorite topic. Out of the 8 sectors of musicianship, the one that everybody always likes the most is application. That's where you finally actually get to play a song. So if you've been here for the last couple weeks, you'll notice a lot of the same concepts popping up today, because we're going to take those concepts, we're going to apply them to a very specific song. If you haven't been here, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to play all of our little concepts. So hopefully at the end of today's lesson, you'll have all the tools to practice an actual real song that you can play for your friends and impress them. Let's go. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we are doing Murder to the Mind. Thank you for all of your suggestions on the songs, and this is actually a pretty cool song that fortunately does not have a whole ton of notes, so even if you're a beginner, you should be able to pick up a lot of the stuff that we're doing today. You shouldn't be able to be able to play it by the end of the lesson necessarily, but at least know what you need to go practice, and then hopefully within a week or two, be able to practice it up to the point you could play along with the play along track. And let's go ahead and see what that looks like. That is this thing right here. Of course, if you go to learnpianolive.com/blog, then that will have some of the covers and stuff for this song.
these are the chords you're going to need, and then we're going to get into all those, how to play each of those, and then here are the notes that you'll need for the entire thing. Let's play it first, though. Your track is at 88 beats per minute. That's what that thing is about right there. So that means even if you don't have the track, you can just set a metronome to 88 beats per minute, and then that would be at about this pace right here. And your track, if you downloaded it from the site, has this. Then the melody starts. Something like that. So let me show you how all of this stuff works. First of all, you're going to need the chords. Here we go. You're going to need the chords for this thing. So that is going to be obviously the F, M, which means F minor, and the C, M, which means C minor, are the only two chords for the whole entire song. And those chords can be found on the next page right here. The F minor is just F and A flat and C. So with the F, the A flat, and the C, you should be just repeating the F and the A flat and the C all the way through. You should be able to play those. Let me show you the notes for those, which would be found. Come on, no, really? There we go. So that's a C. That's an A, which means that that's an A flat right there, and that's an F. So we got an F, an A flat, and a C. And then those are just repeated. Everywhere you have an F and an A flat and a C, the F can be found by taking any group of 3 black notes and then just taking the bottom note down one note. You would land on an F every single time. So that's your F, A flat, and C, and that was the majority of the notes that I was playing during the F minor section. That's going to last for 2 sets of 4 counts, so a total of 8 counts. So if we go back up to here, this right here, this little box is a set of 4, and that little box is a set of 4. So 2 sets of 4 for the F minor. So that would sound something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's time for the C minor. And that also lasts for 2 sets of 4. 2, 3, 4, and then back to the F, 2, 3, 4, F minor, 2, 3, and then back to the C minor, 2, 3, 4, C minor, 2, 3, 4. And then, so that's all of the intro right there. All those guys right there are the intro. And then this next set of, the next set of 4, groups of 4. Hang on, I'll get there. This right here is going to be your verse. So each one of these is a set of 4. Each line is 4 of those sets of 4. And then if you do 4 of those lines, then that is 1 verse. Cool. So 4 beats in a measure, 4 measures in a line, or what's sometimes called a system, and then 4 systems per verse for this song. Cool. And then also for the chorus right here is the first 2. The next page finishes off that's the rest of your chorus. So the C minor, which we haven't talked about yet, is just C. And then that's an E, so that would be an E flat right there, and G. And hopefully you see how that matches up with the little chart you have there. C, E flat, and G. And those, just playing those back and forth, the F minor to the C minor, F minor to the C minor. Again, that'll take some practice to be able to play all those. And then adding some of those notes in the left hand. Usually whatever the name of the chord is, you're going to want to have that, at least that note as the lowest note of the song. So you'd have on a C minor, you'd have a C as your lowest note. On an F minor, you'd have F as the lowest note. And yes, you can have any F you want as your lowest note, and same thing for C. So just the name of the chord should be the lowest note if you're going to play down in this range. So that would look something like this then. If we play that along with the track, that goes 2, 3, 4. F minor, 3, 4. F minor, 2, 3, 4. C minor, 2, 3, 4. C minor, 2, 3, 4. And then back to the F, 2. 4. So the next steps after you can do that is to be able to maybe add in some other notes. Play the F and the A flat and the C of the F minor, maybe in a different order. So like down here, playing that there, or instead of playing F, A flat, C, playing F, A flat, C, or F, A flat, C, like that. Playing these in some of these other what we call inversions. By the way, at the bottom of the chord page, great idea. Thank you to include all of the links to how to do, like, for example, inversions of chords. The only thing that's missing is the major and the minor and the augmented. So I know those are missing, and they're coming soon. Hopefully they'll be on, if you're watching this in the archives, then they'll already be on your PDF. So anyway, if you want some more information on inversions, then you can go to that link right there, and I'll explain all that. So anyway, those inversions really help a lot to add some variety. So now with the exact same thing, I can play those chords in different inversions and come up with C minor. And the rhythms don't really matter a whole lot right now. I'm trying to play them as randomly as possible. As long as you keep track of where you are and you know when you're supposed to switch chords, like right there is the F minor, C minor. Back and forth between all of those. That'll help you get all of the chords, and that's basically what she's doing when she plays it in the original. Is she's playing inversions of the chords with maybe a note or two added from the key, and the key is the key of A flat major, which looks like this. I'll go ahead and show you the overlay on my keys here. So this is where A flat, this note, is the most important note. This is going to be number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're back to 1. And then it just continues on after that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then we've got these sets of 7 notes known as a scale or a key or a tonality, or all that stuff is all kind of means the same thing. It means that you're using this set of notes, and that's what your listeners are going to be expecting to hear. When you're listening to the song, you are the listener. So the reason this song sounds like it works is because she mostly just sings and plays notes out of that set, because the song is in the key of A flat. So then, if you just get used to those numbers, then you should be able to eventually play these numbers 1, 7, 6, 1, 3. And then we're off and we're playing the melody. So we've got, tell me, do you feel I am real? Do you seem satisfied within yourself? Those are all the numbers, And if you want to add in notes to the chords that you're playing, so if you want to, back to the F minor concept, if you're going to play this, but you also want to add in other notes, you should probably add in notes that are from the key of A flat. And that could sound really cool. For example, if you take this F minor chord and you throw in that note right there, that's going to sound absolutely wretched because that is not in the key. Boo! However, this note right here is in the key, so we could add like that number right there, and that would actually sound pretty cool. Something like this. 4. So these are all the notes that you would want to add in. Yes, I'm going to stick with that sentence. Those are the notes that you would want to add in. And then, you know, some of them you'll like more than others. Maybe you really didn't care for that sound at all, but you like adding in that one right there. So you can add in that note into your chord. So anyway, experiment with adding in some notes from the key, and then of course experiment with actually playing through those numbers, so that eventually you would be able to like maybe even play the chord down here with your left hand and play the melody. Do you feel I am real? Do you seem satisfied within yourself? Within yourself. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, you can play chords with either hand, you can play melody with either hand, and then you're just kind of making up stuff from there. You got chords happening, you got melody happening. That's a song, my friends. That's a song. So then you got your track to play along with eventually. And tomorrow we're going to get into the key and the time signature and all the theory behind this and why it's put together the way that it is. But for right now, that's all the chords and that's all of the melody, which means that that's everything that you need. Let's play through the track one more time. Try to catch those chords, and I'm going to try to remember to call them out as I go. And here we go, F minor. This is just the intro. And C minor. I've been calling these out times when my life had to go. I didn't know I could see the beautiful world that was in front of you. I was back and forth, forgiveness, but I couldn't forgive myself, and I was screaming out for help. It was to the mind. Set is here back to the F minor. And then I'm going to end on an F minor. Okay, so there you go. There's all the chords. There is all of the melody, and that's it. So let's get to your questions. If you have submitted those on the website, then I should have those. There we go. Question number 1: what does the key of A flat really mean? So the key of A flat really just means it's that set of notes. That is the key of A flat. Of course, that's repeated throughout the whole piano, as we said. But the key of A flat means that A flat's the most important note, and the chord and the note that the song will most likely come back to in the end. Yeah. And so if you want to make that the most important note, then this is the set of notes that you should use. And again, that looks like this. The one exception to that is, and we'll talk about why this is the case tomorrow, when we go to C minor, you can use that D in there a little bit, and you don't have to use that D flat necessarily. But yeah, so that's all the key of A flat means, is that A flat's the most important note, and that's the set of notes that you use. Every time you use a different most important note, like the key of A, for example, you want to play in the key of A, then that would have its own different like set of, here are the most important, like here are all the different key sets that here's all the different notes in that key set that you would use. So that's the key or the tonality or the scale of A. And then, if you want to make this the most important one, then that's its own set of notes. So those are the ones you'd want to use. So the key of A flat just means that we're using that set of notes. I hope that answers the question. Who sings this song originally? Her name is... Oh, hang on. I can find that out. Yeah. Let's try... Murder. Nope. All that is no. Oh my goodness. Maybe I can't. Do I know how to operate the internet? Here we go. Murder to the mind. I'm sorry to all the... there we go. Tash Sultana. There we go. That is Tash Sultana. And seems like she is playing all the instruments herself in the video. Like she plays the piano part and the guitar part, and I think the bass part, and maybe plays the drums on like a drum machine thing. Anyway, so she's definitely worth checking out. She's pretty cool. Okay. Next, how do you figure out the notes for the songs? If you're asking how I do it, I listen to it and the notes sound like the notes, and then I write them down. That's not helpful at all. So I think what you're asking is, how do you do it? And that's a thing called ear training, where you practice listening to things and then figuring out what they are. And the process for getting better at listening to notes and figuring out what they are is to do a lot of listening to notes and then figuring out what they are by just hunting around and trying to find out what notes you're listening to, matching the notes with what you're hearing. There are some exercises that help with that, and that's kind of its own set of like lessons and lots and lots of lessons is ear training stuff and getting better at that. But listening for chords and listening for notes are, for most people, kind of two separate things. So yeah. So the way that I do it is I just listen. In the same way that like if you hear a speech, then like you just know the word, like the words sound like the words, and you've heard and used those words before a lot, and so you can just know what they are, and you could just like write down the words to some speech you hear. Whereas someone who doesn't speak your language, like you just like hearing this random set of syllables and then like being able to copy them down, you just know what they're saying. That's impossible. It would seem quite amazing, but it's less amazing when you know the language. So when you've just played a lot of notes and you're familiar with a lot of notes, then all that stuff's a lot easier. So I think what I was trying to say is, it's not as amazing as most people think it seems, and it takes a lot more work and time than most people are willing to put in. But ear training is the route you're wanting to go. If you're asking, how do you do it? If you're asking how I do it, I just do it. Okay. I think that's our last question. So until next time, of course, if you have any questions, then fill out the survey at the end of the lesson and let me know. And if I didn't get to your question, then definitely let me know. But until next time, which is tomorrow, we're doing the theory of this thing, then good luck. Have fun. No, I love you.